Starting. Well, we have a viewer. Took a few minutes, but that's cool. Who's here? Let me get over to my chat window here. It's not typing. What? There we go. So, I have a guess who it might be. And I'm sorry, I forgot your name. I forgot your name. Yep, just you. Dorian, thank you. I could not think of your name. There's got to be some serious lag in this. I'll have to find some better settings. My stream health is median at best. But since this is being DVR'd, I believe that's how I have it set up here in preferences. Stream options. Yes, we're enabled DVR. Okay. So today was a pretty cool day for me, I think. I'm starting a new project, and I think I'm just going to address everybody that's out there, not just you, but everyone that ends up watching this, whether you're a subscriber or not. As long as you see this video, you may have a chance to get something cool in 3 months, 4 months. So what's going on here is that we're having a kitchen remodel done. And what I want to do is move, because of the layout of the house, I want all of my expensive stuff, like my laptop, my monitors, my game systems, everything to be moved up into our bedroom. Now, our bedroom doesn't have a locking door. I'm sure I can get around to doing that. But what I want to do is, because it's a straight shot down the hallway to even get to our room from where the door is, that I want to take this project I'm working on, and I'll show you in a second, and make a small, I mean like super small security system with a camera to aim down the hall and record any movement at all. I might have another one that faces out the back door. We'll see, but we're on the second story, so it's less likely people are going to want to do that. Two-story house. So, got another person joining. So let's just say my company, well, I don't own it, but the company I work for doing structured cabling, these guys, we do security systems and structured cabling, internet, Ethernet, PC repair, you name it. We are the technology connection. Did I do it the right way? Yes, technology connection. I was not pointing to my nipples. Don't get that wrong. Quit looking. But he offered that I could take one of the spare security systems, which comes in a good-sized box. It's probably 16 inches wide, 12 inches deep, and maybe 5 or 6 inches tall. It's a big thing. And then on top of that, he's got a couple $400 cameras, infrared cameras. I forget the brand name right off the top of my head. But I could hook them up and have a system that would record onto a 1 terabyte hard drive in loop, closed circuit, and I could aim one down the hallway and one toward the back door, and I could use it for free while we're doing the construction. And of course, he's going to need it for the shop, so I need to give it back. So that got me thinking. I really want to do my own little project that I can take with me and that I can be proud of. It's a cool display project, but I wanted to get into something like liquid cooling. It's always been something fun, and I'm sure you can see on the screen here, I got a ton of tabs open. You're about to find out what all that's about, and I think this is going to start getting to be a very interesting stream. So, we have a little shop here in Columbus among several other states. I believe there's 27 or 28 locations now. It's where we go, or at least where I go. It's kind of like a Radio Shack for grown-ups. Yep, Micro Center. This place has everything. It really does. So I'm constantly browsing the site, and my stupid crazy long receipt for two things. It's only a start. I'll start with the least interesting piece of it, and that is a how long is this cord? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't really care how long it is. It's probably like 2 or 3 feet. But it's a 3 amp micro USB 5 volt power supply. Or I guess if you want to call it a charger, you can call it a charger. This is going to power something special. And I bet you don't even know what it is yet. So after doing a lot of research and finally plopping down for this, which believe it or not, I don't have a whole lot of money. I really don't. Especially with that transmission fix, it just cost me a little over $2,200. I have Raspberry Pi 3, Model B. This guy is $30 pocket computer. That's how it's advertised. It does run various versions of Linux and Ubuntu. It runs Windows IoT and a few other things, but what I'm basically getting into this for is to create a super subcompact, basically like a desktop. The original purpose is going to be a security system for the house, like I explained earlier, and when I'm done, I will probably take it and put it in the office right next to my desk, which is where all the customers come in and I do all the customer interaction and sales and all that kind of stuff is through the window. So I'll put it right there where everyone can see it. It's kind of like eye candy. And so I haven't even had this thing open yet. In fact, I've never held one in my hand. That's how new this is going to be. That is a really thick, probably a 7 language or something like that user manual. Nobody needs that. Whatever. Yeah. All right. So this little guy is going to end up being only the beginning of a very large project. And I'm going to go over that here in the stream just in a minute. So right off the top of my head, I don't remember all of the specs. I can look them up. But it is a quad-core processor. It has 4, I want to say USB 2.0 ports. I don't believe they're 3.0. A full-size Ethernet port, a audio and composite port, full-size HDMI, micro USB for feeding it power. It's got 2 CIS port, ribbon cable, with ports, slots, whatever you want to call them. We put that thing down. 1 gigabyte of RAM, and I'm doing all this completely out of order, so just ignore me. And a complete set of GPIO pins. I have not done much work on these before, but I'll tell you, I think this is going to be cool. So this big junky thing is going to power it, and this guy, sometime tonight after I do the stream, I'm going to set this thing up. I'm going to get noobs on here and figure out just how it sets up. I'm going to use my second monitor over here to figure all that out. But let me go over the things that I have on all million of these tabs here, and this was kind of like bait here. So if you managed to watch the video and didn't leave, which apparently somebody left, it is what it is. I never have a ton of viewers right now. I'm thinking most of my people are probably in bed. But this is actually what got me thinking about what I want to do. And with that, I did quite a bit of searching, and I found this guy. Well, once he imports, let me figure out where he's at here. All right. Being stupid. So this guy, let me put him down here. This is going to be, dang it, really need to move it just, you know what, let me move this thing up a little bit so we can actually get a good view of this thing outside of the box. I don't know why I just didn't do that to begin with. Okay, so I don't know what this little tab is for. That doesn't exactly exist. Oh, that's because that's where the micro SD card sits. But I'm using this because I'm going to make, either 3D print or not, a likely acrylic, so I'll have to get it laser cut. An acrylic, basically like an open chassis, that's going to house all of these components that are up here, and that this is going to be big brains. So when I said liquid cooling, I'm going to show you 2 videos, and these are the ones that got me interested in wanting to do this project, and I think you're going to like this. So the first one is, what is his name? Nova Spirit Tech. I can probably play a little bit of the audio. I'm not sure if it's going to cause some feedback or not here, but basically watch what he does. And with his stuff, he does list a number of parts that he used, although mine is going to have quite a bit more and it's going to look a little different, but it's the general concept behind it.
Second. Today I got a really special episode for you guys. We're going to be water cooling a Raspberry Pi. Now some say it's very pointless to water cool a Raspberry Pi, and I say I wanted to click on this video. So let's get started.
He's right, it is very pointless, but this is going to be pretty cool. So I'll chime in and out here in a minute.
So I got to give a shout out to
Let me know in the chat if you can hear this.
They're the ones that I ordered all the components from. At first when I was on their website, I was a little confused because they have so much stuff going on over there. And I ended up reaching out to customer support. Joe, the CEO from my actually contacted me back and handpicked all the parts I needed for the build. That made it super easy for me. All I needed to do was add the part and check out. Now, I love their customer support and I love their business sense. Go check them out. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. They also got a YouTube channel that they do their videos and their promos and all the stuff that they build on there. So check that out too. So now let's check out the components that I got. So to start off, we have the Alphacool DC adhesive pen. It fits perfectly onto the heat sinks.
So you can tell he's got a lot of parts in here. What is wrong with this chat window? Okay, so basically, I took a radiator that's nowhere near this size. That seemed to be ungodly overkill. But this was definitely the built-in reservoir on top of the block that sits on top of the pump. That was a cool idea, and I really like that. So here's his basic layout. He's got a bunch of converters to go from thing to thing, and I think he put on one. The other guy put on two. That was in another video though. But the second video, the way this guy did it, was a little bit different, and it used one of these to hop into one block, out of that block to another block, out of that block back into the receiver, and keep going. So you're taking coolant, pulling out the heat. Now you have slightly warmer coolant, not by much, mind you, this is totally negligible, but then running into the next block with warmer coolant and then back out. So why not feed both blocks fresh coolant and call it a day? So out of here, instead, because there's 5 out, instead of taking 1 out to go to 1, hop to the next, and then come out, simply take 1 on each side, 1 to each block, and then 1 from each block directly into 1 for each of the ports on the receiver. Both get the same temperature coolant, and you can cool more effectively. Now, I meant to throw up a design here that would include a display of some kind, but what I settled on, and it's up here in the tabs, is actually not the one I wanted, but it'll give you an idea what I'm after. The one I wanted has built-in HDMI on the side with micro USB for supplying power. The one that's shown here has a whole separate display board. It has a control board for options for the screen. It's much more complicated than I think I want to get involved in this thing. So let me skip down to the end here really quick and show you pretty much what he's working at. Come on. Okay. Not bad. I'm not a fan of blue. It doesn't really pop, I guess. I'm more of the, yeah, because of my last name. I like the deep, rich, vibrant green, not the UV green, which requires extra lighting to make it stand out and be extra visible. But there's actually a super green or extreme green or something, C1000 here at Micro Center, that it's not as clear as this blue. It's actually almost completely opaque, but it's super green. I mean, it looks awesome. In fact, I'm going to see if I can pull it up on my phone real quick because I took a picture of it. I want to see you guys to see exactly what I was talking about here. Okay, so this super bright green, and it may be hard to see in the webcam, but this stuff is bright without any UV lights. Now, it may still be UV reactive to a degree. Now, it depends if I use UV light, black light, maybe a blue light or a green light to complement. It kind of depends how it just reacts to it. But that's what I want, is solid green. It's more of like an alien thing. Now, I don't think he's running it right now because I still see air in the line here that's not moving. He goes and does some temperature comparisons, and they all seem about right. And about changing voltage, but until I get really comfortable with this, I don't think I'm even going to go that far. It's not really necessary. I might do some overclocking once I feel I've got enough of the system put together that it'll be stable. So, yeah, this is a really cool setup. It's clean, of course, a monstrously oversized radiator, but I like how everything flows together. it needs to be more, put in a shell or a case or something. So let's move on to the next one. This one got me thinking that I could really do something cool. And this guy, yep, it might be rough around the edges, but I'll compliment this guy. He did a really good job, even for just kind of throwing it together. He kind of glued the edges rather than using wood glue. He used super glue. But in general, it actually looks pretty good. And I'm kind of impressed by the way he thought about some of this stuff. So I'm not going to go over the absolute entire thing. But yeah, out of wood, I would be, once I get the final design in Tinkercad, I'm going to have it 3D printed. That way I can make more than one if I decide that I want to sell the case as a printable model. And then I can ship that out and maybe get some ideas down. Maybe some of you guys would like to buy one. But I'll explain why maybe not buy, but you'll like some of the end results here. So after he does all this, since I'm not getting a preview here, yeah, see what I'm saying? Uses glue. That's all right. Let's get down to where he actually starts putting the components in. I'm going to bring this up to forced at 720. So his actually has a battery, so it is portable. I believe he said he gets like 6 or 7 hours out of it, which that's pretty impressive. You can get a little more if you turn the screen brightness down and things like that. The Pi, the board, the keyboard from a tablet foldable cover. That was a really cool idea, since it plugs in through micro USB, or I'm sorry, through regular USB. Then you can cut it, wire it in, and it's hardwired. You're good to go. That's pretty smart. I believe the only thing this one does not have is a touchpad, but I think the monitor was touchscreen. I don't remember. But look at this. That's a lot of stuff to be fitting in such a small box. So he did some planning to it. He's got his ports accessible on the outside. It looks like he's got a CIS extended cable here. So he's got the Pi, he's got the display driver board, and then the display on the next panel. So I think it is the touch panel. That's how he gets like point and click. Doing all the testing. Man, look at that. That is really crammed in there. That's impressive. Now, of course, it's a sealed box that generates heat. I would prefer to make some way to vent it, but that's me. So, let's see, does he interact with it here? Yeah. On and off switches, cable runs out the back, although I'd like that if it were a little bit cleaner. Backside USB, this is the port for the SD card for the Raspberry Pi. This is component video. See if he switches over to the next side. USB, 3 of them. What was that? I believe that's the headphone jack. I think. I'm not sure. Obviously, there's no way to turn the screen off if you shut it. I mean, you could make a switch, but I think I was beyond his scope for this project. But look at that. I mean, it's clean. It's got a camera. Yeah, it works. So this is the idea. I want to take something like that, but I want to turn it into an open chassis. So let's pause him. He's done. He's paused. Let's start to go look at all the components. I know it took me a while to get here. So the first is obviously QVS power supply. Right here. Already got it. That's done. And I need to add up the prices for all these things. I'll do that later. In fact, I can do that as we go through this. Grab my expensive calculator here. All right. I'll just add this up as we go through each thing. Next we'll have, now this is the display I was considering. This is the one that he used. So it must be the no touchscreen version. I hate when this thing does that. So it has the display, the breakout board, the control board, which is on the top there, which controls like brightness and menu and power and all that kind of stuff. And then the driver display board on the far right here, which is this guy. And then you can go from this into either component, HDMI, VGA, supply it with power. It's got a, yeah, it's just one more board to add to the mix, and I'm not really down for that. I'd like to make this simple, but you got to find the medium balance. You know what I mean? So with the extra board and everything here, I think that was more than I'm willing to put into it. And there was one more picture. Yeah, it shows it powered on, but whatever. So this is an idea. There's another one that I believe is $70, and the HDMI and the micro USB for power are on the same side, and it's all on one board. It's all one piece. So that extra driver board and control panel are not there. Now, for the extra price, I believe it is touchscreen, which I thought would be a really cool addition. It is also a 5-inch. I decided not to go with any of the 7-inch pieces because they didn't have the right format that I thought I was going to use for this. I didn't want it stupid big, but I didn't want it too small either. So 5-inch is what I settled on, and 800 by 480. It's not like I'm doing games on it, so that's perfectly good. So we'll call that $70. And we'll go on to the next one. Now we start getting into the components that cool it. So this is what was in that first guy's video. These are the cooling blocks for basically the CPU, RAM, GPU, if you want to call it that. And there's a main display chip on the back of the display that I'm looking at, which is the one that I told you is $70. This block will fit all of them. It's a G1/4 attachment. $394 a piece seems a little steep. But hey, I'm going to put this together once and it's going to be done, and as long as it works, doesn't leak all over my thing and fry it, I'm cool. I'm good with that. So I'm going to say we look at this guy. So depending on how I mount this, which may have him sitting up, then I'll have 1, 2, 3. That's 3 blocks, and then 1 chip like this on the back of the display, so 4. So we'll do 4 of $394. Let's move on to the smaller radiator that I chose. Now remember the other guy had a gigantic thing. I mean, it was like the size of a phone in every direction, square. I mean, it was huge. 120 millimeter radiator, I think he said. No, I don't think that's anywhere near necessary. Now, he didn't have a fan on his radiator, mind you. I'm planning on getting fans for mine. So it would look something similar to this. That's right, you can't see it. Let me, well, okay. So it's down here, but it'll have the fans on top, screw in just like they should, and these are 40 millimeter fans. Much easier to work with. That's all right. Lost a viewer, no big deal. I'll see you, or you can catch the stream when I'm done, man. So good night, Dorian. Okay, I'm going to keep streaming here, even though I currently have no viewers. Kind of sucks for a live stream, but it is what it is. So with this radiator, I chose something where supposedly these fittings, where does it say the ports? Ports. 2 6 millimeter barbs. Well, 6 millimeter is 0.24 and some change inches. So essentially a 1/4 inch. It's a little bigger than I'd like, and I think it's actually bigger than these. I'm still working on figuring out what it is. These are, let's 2 G1/4. So I'm going to say they're 1/4 inch. So a hose should go directly from this barb to this barb and call it a night. So I don't have to worry about extra adapters and other things. So let's add in the total for this, and that is 37.94. Everything's like 0.94 in my mind, you know what I mean? Okay, so with this slimmer radiator, which will make it easier to fit into a compact design without taking up a stupid-ass amount of room, we're going to move on to the next part. And not all of these are from Mod My Mods. These are where I could find them and found them cheaper. There may be better places, but we'll see. So here are the fans. See, that gives you a better look. Okay? These guys are the 40mm 2-pin, so they're not PWM. These are simply 2-pin, and I can hook these directly into a 12-volt line, which will come off of a board that I will show you here in a minute. So 2 of these guys at $2.99. So 2 times 2.99. Let's continue moving on. And I specifically chose for this ball bearing brushless so that they would have a little bit better life expectancy. Moving on, we have the upper part of the reservoir that sits on top of the block that the pump mounts to. It is clear so that we can see into it, which was a big thing. I want to be able to see as much of the cooling system as possible. I want to have as little be in an opaque container as possible. So with this, $18.94, it's acrylic. There's really nothing else to get into, right? So $18.94, should I guess, right? Moving on, we have the lower part of the block. This block is also $18.94, and this is where the pump sits on the bottom, and then the other piece sits on top with long screws and threads right into it and seals. Perfect. Also clear so you can see into it. That's the whole idea here. Now we have the pump that sits underneath of that block. This was the same one used in this guy's mod. In fact, this upper block, this reservoir block, this lower block, and this pump down here are the 3 that are here, here, and here. It's the exact same ones. In fact, these are the ones he linked to. So this one is $19.94. Moving on, we have 99 cents for, I'm not sure how much tubing. 3 mil inner by 5 mil outer. Well, 3 mil is definitely not 1/4 inch. In fact, it's 1/8 inch. So ignore this. I need to find thicker tubing. I'm sorry, bigger tubing, yeah. Where 5mm is probably the inner diameter. That way I can get away with having a tight fit on both of those other barbs. But I'll just put in, call it $3. I'm not really sure how much it's going to be. That just gives me a number to work with. Next we have some coolant here, but this is not, it's just because this is what I found at the time. I just got back from Micro Center with my cool green stuff here. And this on the screen is $10.94, but this stuff was $19.99. And it's probably way more than is ever going to fit in this system. But it gives me a little bit of extra in case I need to, I want to expand later, maybe get a system that has 2 Raspberry Pis and make it a dual Pi system. I'm not really sure. I'll work on that. So I'm actually going to call that $19.99. I got a viewer back. I don't know who it is. Probably not Dorian, as he apparently went to bed. So these are seal plugs for, that's these little guys here that seal up all of the exit ports on this adapter. I'm not going to be using this adapter, so technically I don't need those. So I can actually toss them out. All right. Because this is going to start out as a security system, you got to have a camera. I mean, isn't that how it works? So here, camera module V2, Raspberry Pi 3, Model B, and it comes with however long that cable is, but it's enough that I can hook it onto the board, and I think I can run it to the side and set it off. Not everything is going to be formatted, like the camera's not going to be dead center of, above the screen. It's going to be, stuff's going to be set everywhere. I'm going to make a layout in CAD, but this is going to be one of two cameras, and because in my case I need two, I need to shoot down the hallway and out the back door. I'll get two of these because there's two ports. One, two. And I should be able to use both. Now one says camera, one says display. So I may be wrong on that. I may only be able to use one camera. I do have a way to set it up in the room where I can probably see both. I'll have to get the angle right. But I just now saw the writing on the board. Remember, this is my first time holding one of these and really getting used to it and setting it up. So I'll be working on that. So a camera, we'll call that 29.99 because I'm only going to have one, at least to start, and I can make sure it works. Let's continue moving on. If I need to extend it more, I can have this stupid long guy. But being that I probably won't need to do that, I'm going to say we're going to axe him. He's gone. Now this is the power board that converts my 5-volt in to 12-volt. Depending on the display I choose is the reason I was saying I'm going to need this. Now I can also do it so that with this board I can power a string of LED lights. I just need to make a power supply other than this guy, maybe a little bit stronger. I might be able to get away with 3 amp because apparently the Raspberry Pi takes 2 amp on its own, or it's recommended 2 amp. I'm going to try to undervolt or underclock, or I don't know. I'm going to mess with it a little bit, see if I can't reduce power consumption a little bit. But I can take the excess that's left over and put into this board to bump it up to 12 volts and see how much current I have left and use that for something. If I have to get 2 of these and solder them together to make some form of custom brick, that's what I'll do. That's the whole point of this project, is to, I guess it's not do what hasn't been done, but it's to do something fun. And I really want to get into this. In fact, I'm almost itching to get done with the stream just so that I can plug this thing in and start. Now, my other thing, and I think it's sitting in the garage, that you've watched my other videos, I have the DJI Spark drone, and I took my 64 gig, it's either a class 10 or a U1, U3, I don't remember. It's a micro SD card, 64 gig, and use that as the system for this guy. It goes right in here. The other consideration, and I'm not sure exactly how this works, I need to watch another couple videos, so if you know, let me know in the comments, please. There's a way to do a one-time write to a bit that allows the Raspberry Pi 3 to boot off of a USB device, which would mean I can install one of the distros on an external SSD and use that to run the system. Now, I believe someone said that that runs a little bit slower. It's not as fast as using the micro SD card, faster class, and having it boot directly from here rather than from USB, because then you're limited to USB 2. I swear it's USB 2. I really need to look this up again. So, yeah, I'm going to get into this here as soon as I get off of here, and we will figure it out. But here's the thing. what I talked about all the way at the beginning of the video, if you were still paying attention, is that I want to make this, use it as a security system. It'll probably sit in my office as a display product for some period of time, not very long, but what I'm going to do is as soon as I get, and this should prompt some of you guys, once I'm finished with this, obviously I'll make another video, and as soon as I get, say, 500 subscribers, I'm at 300 and some odd right now. That's actually not bad. In fact, let me check my stats because I'm not entirely sure. I stopped keeping track at like 210 or something like that. So let me go into my channel. 321. Wow, that jumped up quite a bit. That's cool. Okay, so I got 321 subscribers. I know a lot of you watch the channel and you don't subscribe. I don't have a problem with that. That's cool. Thank you for watching the videos and taking the time. That's always a plus. If you would subscribe, doesn't mean you have to watch every video that comes out, but it lets me know that you're interested in my channel. Even if you give a video a like, thumb up. This is not Facebook, so cool. This is Facebook. This is, I don't know, whatever. That, never. Censor that. Is there a censor block? I need to put that up. You keep this PG. There's little kids watching this, I'm sure. So basically, if I can get 500 subscribers that I can see on here, I will do a contest, and I'm not sure how I'll format it yet. I'll think about that part. But I will put up a contest in another video, and you can win my complete setup, the whole cooling rig, everything that went into it, and I'll send any of the spare parts, including any of the extra coolant that I have. I'll send all of it in a package to the winner. Now, chances are you're going to have to be in the US because the price of customs and it's mailing out of the US is ungodly expensive. Just to mail that little Nintendo Switch mod I made, the guy from Brazil, if I'd have mailed it directly to him from here, it would have cost him $63. Dude, I'm selling it for $10. $63 to send it over there? No. So, I mean, there may be better ways, but I looked at that and go, That's part of why I don't generally do international shipping. But if you want to win the rig that is eventually going to be made out of this, 500 subscribers. So those of you that aren't subscribed, go ahead and watch the channel. You can see right there in the main page how many subscribers there are currently. And if you're not currently subscribed, hit subscribe. That'll let me know that you're interested and would like to see this happen. The other thing I'd like to ask, and it is kind of like a gamble, I guess, but you're also helping me out. Remember, I don't make a ton of money. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those YouTubers that walks away with a $200 or $300 paycheck a month just from the views on the videos. In fact, I don't even cut the amount in monetary value in order to get paid. I believe the minimum is you have to make $100 per month on views before they actually will pay you anything. I'm at like $40. I'm not even halfway there. So I'm not really making anything off of doing this. I'm simply, at this point, doing videos for you guys. So what I'd like to ask is if you would like to either send me a part that's on this list that I went over. I'll put the link to everything down in the description, at least everything that's up here. Or if you would like to send me an actual part, or even send me a donation in PayPal to cover the price to get a part. And heck, you can either choose what part it is, you can order a part and have it shipped to me. And if you're the lucky winner, then say you bought a $30 part and you win the rig, you got an entire rig for 30 bucks. Pretty sweet deal, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going to do my best to work on this project just as much as I can. I was hoping to get it done before Christmas, but you know, money stops you. That's the way it goes. The life of a poor YouTuber. This guy. So yeah, I think that's about going to do it for the stream tonight. I am itching to get into this thing. I really want to power this guy up, install something, hook it up to my second monitor over here, and get the ball rolling. Why am I so interested in this? I love coding. I like Android. And being able to program stuff for the Pi, that could be fun. I have the power. Well, I would if it were plugged in. So, yeah, that's the contest, guys. 500 subscribers. I think we can do it. It might take a while, but I definitely think we can do it. If you want to talk to me privately about sending me either money for a part or sending me a part in the mail, go ahead and PM me. I believe that function I've enabled on YouTube here. So just go to my channel, I believe about or whatever it is, view my stats, and you should be able to send me a private message. If not, write in the comments, and I will get back in touch with you. So this could be a fun project. Oh, and if you have an idea for maybe another piece to put in the rig, or you want to draw up a CAD design for something that I can laser cut, say in acrylic or something, go ahead and put it in a functional, say, in either an SVG, an STL, or an OBJ file. That way I can import it to Tinkercad, and I can move it around and build using that part. That would really help. Yeah, that's it. I think I'm going to end the stream here. I'm really itching to get into this. I keep saying that. It's because I am super interested. So I will do another video when I get some updates on this thing. I'm not going to go into every detail about how to program it, how to hook it up, all that kind of stuff. There's 1.5 billion videos on that already. So you don't really need me for that. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. That's how you enter the contest. I will be keeping an eye on those numbers now. So see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching. 1 subscriber, maybe 2 the whole time, but you know what? I do appreciate all the work that you guys have done to watch my videos, take the time out of your day to see what I do. I know I'm a little bit bouncy back and forth with what I do. I'm trying to get focused on some things, but it'll all work out in the end. So until then, have a good one, guys.